How you doing, sir?
Just fine. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. As I was thinking about today, one of the things that most people don't realize is that their life is nothing more than a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I kind of want to talk about as you think you are and get into the dynamics of it, because a lot of people think that what's going on in their life is because of something outside of them. And you and I both know that that's not the case, correct?
Yes. Well, actually, they're copying from it, unaware for the most part, and that's what we're trying to correct. The idea that you're actually saying your say all the time. You're on all the time, and what you're saying is collected, and then it's used to determine your life on this planet. Everything on the without is man-mind made with the help of God. But not a decision. God's not making any decisions for you. You were given, choose this day. And you were also given a roadmap, the Bible. But it takes feeling after, in self, for self. You have to devote time for self. And that really isn't done so much because we find many things to fill our day in with that are not productive to what we're looking for. If you are looking for something, and I hope you are, because when the people fail to dream, they're told, start to die. But that's start to die. You can always change your mind because this day is forever. Always this day. Never a yesterday or a tomorrow. It's always this day. So what you're thinking and feeling today is what you'll be in a position to experience tomorrow, but you're also, because you're thinking ahead of your evidence, you always have an opportunity to change your mind, change your world. And if you would just focus to do so and see the results that you would get for doing so, then you would be encouraged. Then that would be, you'd never stop. And there isn't any place to stop. It's I am forever. And that's the reason why you're given change your mind, change your world, so you don't get stuck in a state of consciousness that's unlovely forever. Think about it. Actually think from it, but do think about it until you can actually start thinking from it, because feeling is the secret, isn't that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You stated something about God in you, as you, but you were stating that God does not make a decision. Now, most people, when they pray and they believe in their mind's eye that God is making that decision for them. So are they in error, or how should they be praying?
Actually, that is in error. As a matter of fact, most praying is in error because they're not actually getting what they want because they want it. And that's the one word they got to drop off, that and doubting. You see, if you doubt even a bit, that's it. Because you're given to penetrate this world of seeming solid and real. In other words, to go beyond natural man-mind reasoning. But it takes being in the silence. It takes being quiet. And it has to be for a period of time so that you can quiet the mind. And that's pretty hard to do, really. So, especially the older you are, the more garbage you've collected from the outer world without recognizing it or realizing it, and you're operating with it, and it causes a great deal of confusion. Focus. If you can stay focused for even a little while, you can see differently. And that's what we really should be looking to do, is seeing beyond what man is doing to what man is. Spirit, and your spirit too. That's it. If you can feel after that, you got it made.
I think that a lot of people find that a challenge because, of course, everything that we've done up until this moment for most of us has been based off of the world without, and not understanding that we're spiritual beings. So, you hear the person talking about their finances or their marital situation or their health, and they see it all from an outward perspective as opposed to as you think you are. So I agree.
Yes. And the thing of it is, we ourselves are dreaming up our monsters. God's not sending monsters at you. God did not give you the spirit of fear. God did not give you the spirit of sickness. We learn these. They are actually learned. Now we have to unlearn them. You have to throw that off and take on a new attitude, a new assumption, a new mood. And actually, that's what everyone's looking to do, because what you are looking for is looking for you. So just be aware of what you're sitting, contemplating, and meditating about, because, as I said, what you're thinking about, that's what's looking for you. So if it isn't something you want to experience, well, then stop it. Yeah, do you think that would be the way to handle it?
It would be. It would be. The challenge is the execution, and what I mean by that is it's, as you know, speaking from your own experience, stopping isn't always as easy as stopping when you have a habit of doing a particular thing repeatedly,
That's it. A habit. That's it. See, we're acting habitually. In other words, from mindsets that you may have since you were a child, and you don't realize you're still operating. I talk to people over 90 years old, and they're still being raised by their parents. And if you'd say something like that, they'd probably get angry. But they're still being raised by their parents. And if they're 90, I'm sure they're all gone.
Absolutely.
But when you can actually see that, how would you tell them that without getting slapped?
It's true.
Yeah.
You say that, but it carries over. I was just thinking as you said that, because we've talked about this before, people being raised by their parents in their 90s, but people also do it in their relationships. Some people are still in their old relationship in their new relationship because all the hurts and disappointments that they had in that old relationship, they've carried over into the new relationship. Would you agree?
That's true. In other words, drop it. If it isn't serving you any longer, drop it. If you don't see a better future in what you're thinking and feeling, well, then drop it. Because it states very clearly, as you think you are. So, and then you're told to think only on things that are lovely and a good report, which that seems to fit really perfectly, doesn't it?
It does.
So you're in charge, you see. That the thing of it is, you're in control. You may not know you're in control, which that could be dangerous, but you are in control. If you would take control of your thinking and feeling, in other words, choosing the next thought, then don't stop. Because if you're choosing it, we're assuming that you would choose what you want, what you need, and that's what you're doing. Feeling after better than the best, constantly. Because, look, what you think upon grows. And if you're thinking on negative situations, they're only growing more negative, because all things produce after their own kind. So think on something lovely, and then the next thought will be something lovely, if you will flow with it. And that's it. We're so easily distracted. I know I got 3-pane windows on everything, and still, you hear things from the street, and you can say, well, I don't pay any attention. But you do. If you heard it, then you paid attention to it. If you didn't hear it, then you didn't pay attention to it. So just being in a silence so that you can receive, because actually you are receiving, you're just not attuned to what's happening. You're not paying attention. And when you don't pay attention, you pay. I mean, all denial, we're told, is self-denial. So you're paying. I mean, you may not be aware of it, but you are. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And of course, that's male, female. What you think about grows. You understand? It grows exponentially. So you want to be careful of what you're actually thinking about. I mean, that's all we're trying to do, is to show you that you are thinking, and what you're thinking is your life, and you get what you expect, not necessarily what you want. Unless they happen to be the same thing, but that's rarely the case, because people really claim they're getting their prayers answered. And why would that be so? Absolute love loves absolutely. He wants you to have only the best, but you interfere with all kinds of thoughts, negative, and then you experience those because he's not making decisions for you. He isn't going to, because he gave you choose this day. Now, if he interferes, then there'd be no freedom with it. And there's absolute freedom with it. And it's right with you right now. This is the appointed hour of claiming your freedom. You can do so. It was a given that you could do so. I think that's said enough.
Well, you know what, I appreciate your expounding on that, because often, we complicate it. I was talking to a client recently, and she was talking about in her culture, she's in India, and she was saying about situations with her fiance, blah, blah, blah. But the thing that happened was they were at a distance, they were parted because he was in school, and she started building all these negative stories in her mind. Pretty soon she started repelling the man that she was in love with, and I told her, just like you said, I said, stop it. I said, you got to quit sending that kind of energy, those thoughts, towards that person. If that's the person you want to be in a relationship, stop it and think on what it is that you want to manifest. Give your attention to that. Be more loving. Give time to the things that you need to give time to, and stop all of creating the monsters, as it were. And many people are creating monsters. We have enough to deal with life anyway, and then we're still creating these monsters on top of it. And we wonder why our life is in chaos. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, I experienced that. I know first-person, present tense experience exactly what you're saying. And everybody does go through those times of depression and mood swings and all of that stuff. That's what we have to handle. That's what we have that to handle now, whereas in the beginning, just getting ourselves fed without getting eaten. But now this is what we have to handle. And the load is getting lighter, it really is. I mean, look how long people live today as opposed to 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started giving these talks 45 years ago, that people were afraid of words. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You say metaphysical, and they kind of shrink back a little. But you see, today people are more acceptive. They're feeling after for themselves. And that's the ones we're looking for, those who are feeling after to know first person. Hearsay has its place, just like ego has a place, and they have a part to play, but not running the show. It's you who's supposed to be running the show. You are the show. Show what you can do. You can do it. You're told it's a doable. I mean, if God told you to do it, I think he'd know if you could do it or not, wouldn't he?
Absolutely.
So if he told you to do it, then you're on. Oh, boy. Sometimes I really get started here.
You were talking about hearsay as opposed to first person, and I think that that's where a lot of people hit the wall. We've listened to Neville. We listen to various teachers and so forth, and we come face to face with our challenge, our problem, our issue, whatever that is, and we try to do what it is that we believe that they would do, and seemingly it's not working for us. What would you say to the individual that says, I've tried the works of Neville, I've tried them for 6 months, a year, whatever, and they're not working for me? What would you say to that individual?
That's it. That you just said it right there. I tried. It didn't say try. It says do a thing. You do it. Don't try it. Do it. When I said try, I gave myself an out even before I started. Well, I tried. Look, the message is one size fits all. How to think. Yes, teach people how to think. Not what, but how to change your mind, change your world. You're praying ceaselessly. First person. That's what you're doing. You're praying ceaselessly. Think of everything you've said in the last 24 hours. How much of it would you want to actually experience? See, that's what we got to keep track of, because we're talking to ourselves all the time, suggesting to ourselves all the time. I'm not saying anything about what should be suggested. I'm just saying you are suggesting to yourself things that are not lovely and of not good report at times. And they're active in your world without your knowledge. I mean, you do know, but you're not aware of what you know. And actually, you do know all of it, because I am with you always. I will never leave you. Omnipresence. See, if you would sit and think on these things, you would find that they're true to you, first person. First person. In other words, this is not talking about any group. It's talking about first person. You're called one by one, not with a group. So you're responsible for your own life. You're told they themselves are makers of themselves. So you're making yourself with every word you speak, because every word must be taken into culmination to make up your life, your experiences. And if you want different, think different. Wouldn't you say?
I would. And of course, you got those who are listening saying, well, it can't be that simple. But the truth of the matter is, it is. I like that you said also earlier, you said, what we're not trying to do is tell you what to think. And you made the distinction. What we're trying to do is tell you how to think. And what that means is, as you think, you are. We didn't come up with this. It's nothing new. This is something that's been around for centuries, millenniums even. And what we're trying to do is give you the tools for a better life by change your thoughts, change your world. Would you agree?
That's it. I mean, why give you a mind and then show you how to use it and then have a need to tell you what to do with it? If you're given, choose this day, you're wide open. He says, do a thing. Can you get that? do a thing. He's not telling you what to do. Thing. It's always up to you. What you're choosing to think upon. You know, you can only think one thought at a time. I mean, they may run pretty close, but only one thought at a time. And if you're choosing it, and you're choosing it wisely, and all things produce after their own kind, you're on a go. You're on now. Stay on track. We all get distracted. I mean, this is a world of distraction, and then we add to it our own distractions. So yeah, there's a lot of distraction going on around you. But if you'll actually kind of just steal away into silence now and then, and really relax, you'll get the message. You'll hear it. You'll hear it coming to you from within yourself, because it's an as within, so without drama. So you get it going straight inside, then it's going to be okay outside. What do you think?
Absolutely. You know, I was interacting with someone recently by way of email. They had ordered the package. So I was in the process of getting that package out to them, the CDs, as the downloadable CDs. And so, but they had asked the question when they came back, and the question was, well, why doesn't Lindell talk about more personal stories like Neville? And I got back and I said, well, that's not his style. I said, Lindell's goal is not about him. It's about you and personal change. I said, so you're not going to get the same type of teachings that you did from Neville, because that's not how Lindell is built. I said he doesn't want to focus the message on him. He wants to focus the message on as you think you are. What would you say?
Thank you. That is exactly right. That is exactly right. You know, people tell me, well, the way you talk to people, you ain't going to get no fans. I'm not looking for fans.
Sorry.
I'm looking for, no, I'm looking for teachers. I'm not looking for fans. If you understand what you're hearing, you'll be telling someone else. And if one tells one, everyone will know. And that's the whole idea that started this, was that I heard one who told me something that resonated with something in me, not understanding, of course, at first, but I knew I heard something that was worthy of my attention. And it was worthy enough that I actually paid attention, a little bit anyway, but enough to keep it alive in me. And it just exploded. And I knew things that I had no way on earth to know. It was not anything in my repertoire of whatever. But now I knew it. And I saw the connection. And that, they fell backwards. Well, yeah, that's what I did. I fell backwards because it was overwhelming what I was hearing. And yet I knew that it was true. Now, how did I know? I don't know how I knew. I just felt it was true. I operated on the fact that it was to seek and you shall find. And I did find, because it was right in front of me all along. I just couldn't see it. Here I'm looking for what's right in front of me. But I didn't see it because my mind was not orientated to that. Feeling after better than the best, it was on other things. Whatever it was doesn't matter, because it wasn't a productive thing. And that's what we're trying to get you to do. Just drop the productive, just drop the non-productive pieces that you're running off little scenarios about. Just drop that. Because they're still creative, but you don't want more of it the same with that, so you want to get rid of it. And you get rid of it the same way you got what you want. That's what you think upon. Think upon things that are lovely and a good report, what you want. We're figuring if you're thinking for yourself that you're going to think of things lovely and a good report. But that's not always true. You feel you have problems and that you can't solve, then those will nag you and nag you and nag you. But you can let them go. And you do. But you don't give yourself credit for what you do, so it doesn't encourage you to try it again. It says, you turn to me, I'll turn to you. That sounds simple enough to me. I know it does to you too.
Absolutely.
So if you're not doing it, well then you're denying yourself. And we're told that all denial is self-denial. So, and that really takes away all the efforts that you used to blame somebody else. Because I have found the enemy, and he is I, Pogo said. And boy, that was true of me. I line me up against the wall and shoot me. But afterwards, you kind of see it for what it is. It's one dreaming. You see, that's what God's telling you, is that this is a dream. Nobody dies. It goes on and on and on forever. But you have to try it in little squirts here. Yeah.
I often like to say, in those little squirts, make your life an experiment. Try what it is that we're saying. And what you'll find, if you begin to make small incremental changes, small changes in your thought, in your thinking. When Lindell says, turn to me, I'll turn to you, he's talking about simply changing your thoughts to the thing that you desire. As you make that shift, what you'll find is you'll get more of what you desire. The problem is many of us don't stay on course long enough to bring about the manifestation. So since it didn't come in the 5-minute time slot that we gave it, we say it's not working. So we go right back to our negative thinking, and we say, this stuff doesn't work for me. But if that becomes your way of thinking, and I'm speaking of the positive now, you're going to experience the results. I'm speaking from personal experience. Lindell speaking from personal experience. Neville spoke from personal experience.
That's it. It says, test me now herewith. See if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. You don't even have room to receive it all. And all you have to do is show up. Show up and see. That's his promise. God made you a promise. Does God break his promises? I don't think so.
It says it is impossible for God to lie.
Well, there you are. So if he made you a promise, then you can rely on it. And that's all you do, is that you rely on the promises of God. But everybody uses the same excuse. Well, I don't feel worthy. Well, get over it. You're not. Yeah, that's the truth of it. You're not. It says not one's worthy. So it's by grace. And if absolute love is giving you this opportunity every day, today, now is the appointed hour. This day. Choose this day. See, because most people don't really think about it, but it's always this day. So every day you have a new opportunity and a new challenge to change your mind, change your world. But just fall into the same old, then nothing's ever changed. Oh, there will be changes, but they won't be the desired changes you're looking for. That is, if you're looking for them. Because if you are looking for them, they're looking for you. See, it's set up that way. That subconscious only repeats what you're doing in mind, thinking from, for your future experiences. So if you're not paying attention, look out.